Hello and Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today I'm talking to my husband Asif Sayed,
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
and we are just going to share some reflections on self-worth, or this common question that plagues all of us, whether it's moms or just families in general. Are we good enough? We are not worthy enough to be, taking on big responsibilities related to our children, uh, of educating them, because we have our shortcomings, we have so many mistakes that we have made in the past, and it kind of like blocks us from taking on a decision like this, and even to sustain homeschooling, or not just homeschooling, just being a parent who's present and visible to our children, with all of our imperfections, right? So inshallah, we were just talking about something, and I thought that's worth sharing, because I often talk to him, and alhamdulillah, you know we help each other kind of remember our priorities. And so I just requested him that, can we do this on camera? And inshallah, maybe this will be of help to other sisters out there, other brothers out there, who struggle with these doubts and worries and concerns. So um, just wanted you to share that,
Share that. Okay.
inshallah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulih al-Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man istanna bi sunnati ila yawmiddin. All praise and all thanks belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. May His peace and blessings be upon the last and final messenger, our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu was-salam, and upon all those people who follow the path of righteousness until the last day. O Allah, we beg you to make us amongst them. Allahumma ameen. Yes, I think it's a very interesting topic, and a very important one too, where this whole question of whether I am worthy of doing this good action uh, comes into play. Um, and I think the broader issue is that a lot of parents have started to experience a loss in confidence in raising their children. It's because there's so much out there which is telling them that they are doing things wrong, and that so much perfection out there that they need to seek, that they feel it's almost unachievable. I want us to understand that as believers, as Muslims, uh, we always function on a rope of hope, right? So the rope of hope is extremely important for all of us to function. But you also know that Shaitan does not want us to succeed. He's an enemy that has taken an oath upon himself to mislead us. And we should know that he's not going to tell us, okay, don't do this good deed. That's too easy. You're going to simply say, no, it's good deed, I'm going to do it. So he comes at you from a point of view of whether you're worthy of doing that or not, whether you have that in you to take this up or not. So he creates what you call despair, in a way. Because ablasa yublisu means despair. It means hopelessness.
And that's his name, right?
And that's
Iblis.
from where his name actually stems from. But so, having the awareness of this, we must understand that there is no concept in Islam of being worthy of doing good. You know, so if you know the hadith of the man who killed 99 people, think about how unworthy must he be feeling? Because at some point he felt that he should seek Allah's forgiveness.
Right.
Think about which point he must be, how low down there must he be. And if he would have had the thought that, I must make myself worthy to do this good action of seeking Allah's forgiveness, then would he have met that same end that he did? Absolutely not.
Right.
All he did was, no matter how messed up I am, no matter how messed up my past and my history is, no matter how, no matter what my situation currently is, I'm not going to think twice before doing this good. I'm going to get up and I'm going to try to make an effort to do the good.
Right. Right.
And he did. And Allah loved, actually, he first person who he asked, he ended up killing that person too, as we know.
Yeah, so it
The
ended up
alim that he
becoming
asked, yeah,
100.
exactly. The abid that he asked, the first person was the worshipper. He killed that abid too. Imagine an abd of Allah being killed by somebody for giving a sincere advice that the abd felt, that he felt that no, you're too far away from any kind of forgiveness. You've done way too wrong to be forgiven. Now imagine this person killing that abd as well to make the count 100. And then think about it, that he's continued to seek the answer. He continued to do that good action. And Allah loved that so much that when he died, falling short of the destination, Allah changed the geography to make it closer to where he can be forgiven. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loved that action so much that he said, well, this man, he truly believes that he can be forgiven. He truly believes that he can do this good action. And Allah subhanahu wa
Some
ta'ala
people
stepped
may
in.
not know the story. Do you want to?
Yeah, we can certainly talk it out. But actually, the moral of the story really is that this man who killed 99 people one day sought to seek Allah's forgiveness. And he went and asked one of the slaves and worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said, well, he might be knowing the answer to my question. How can I seek Allah's forgiveness? And this slave, when he heard his story, he said that, you're too far away from seeking for, like 99 people. For him, it was unimaginable. And so he answered him in a way which said that, you're too deep down there to seek, to be forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You really should have turned back a long time ago, and there's no chance. And this man didn't like that answer, so he killed him as well.
Right.
Because imagine, this person is used to killing people, right? So for
Right.
him, it is not a big deal. He didn't like the answer, he killed him too. Can you imagine the state of mind of this person?
Yeah.
And can you imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala watching all of this?
Subhanallah.
You see, so no matter what our history is, no matter what our situation is, there is no such thing as being worthy of doing anything good. That one must never stop at the point to say that, well, whether this is something that I can take up for myself. And just think about the action. If it's a good action, if you believe in it, go ahead and do it. Also,
No
this-
matter where you stand.
absolutely, don't
Like, don't delay it.
yeah, don't sulk in the past, or don't don't drown in the thoughts of despair, in the thoughts of feeling the worth of doing something, because there's no such concept of being worthy of doing good. This man was the most unworthy of forgiveness from the human perspective, from our perspective, right?
Right.
But Allah, look how happy he was, how pleased he was. Imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guaranteeing you Jannah. This man, as the Prophet ﷺ narrated to us in the hadith, he was granted Jannah, he was forgiven. Imagine you getting the news.
He was told to leave the town and start all over again.
Exactly. So
and
he
he started to
he
make
started
that
to,
journey.
Yeah, he took that
Move
initiative.
away from sin and move towards good.
Towards
and that moving towards good.
Yeah, Allah
Allah
subhanahu wa ta'ala loved
accepted
it
it.
so much. Actually, the angels were discussing whether he will be forgiven or not, based on the distance, where he was from the place of sins to the place of khair. And he was shot. He was shot by some distance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed the geography in the sense of that he became then eventually closer to the place of khair. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, so for him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can forgive anybody. He looks for people who believe that they can have this hope in Allah. He loves that people never give up this hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that no matter where I am, I can make a difference. I can do this, and I know that maybe I have this. I can fall short here, I can fall short there, but still I'm going to get up and try. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Allazina jahadu fina lanahdiyannahum subulana." That we help and we assist and help those who give their best effort.
Right.
So you have to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really wants us to not hold back anything, and shaitan wants us to hold back and keep on thinking and pondering and delaying things.
Right.
So never do that. That's one thing. Another thing is that there is a story of the prostitute of Bani Israel, and this is a very famous hadith, where this woman who was obviously in a major ocean of sin, where she's doing prostitution, and she's supposedly a believer of La ilaha illallah. She knows her situation. But when she saw that thirsty dog, she didn't think whether this good action is going to be that she's worthy of doing this good action or not. For her, it was simple: go down, get the water in the shoes, and feed this thirsty dog. And Allah loved that so much about her that He forgave her major sins of prostitution as well. Can you imagine that? Like, subhanallah, look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects of us. He says, don't worry about what you, your movement of change, your movement of your decision should be pegged on the hope of that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is almighty. That is Ar-Rahman wa Rahim. You don't limit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any way.
Yeah.
That he loves it so much that he can forgive such grave sins as well. So then, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Subhanallah. So we must never delay that.
Yeah. Like I know some moms will be like, "Oh, I yell at my kids, or I'm not patient, or I'm not a good mom." Like, and they have some memories where they have slipped, where, they have fallen short as a parent, or sometimes even like as a family you think that no, they need better experts to do this and that because we are not qualified, or we are not, we have like 10 excuses why we are not the
For sure.
right answer for them. But actually the kids, by design, by Allah's design, Allah put us in a position where we don't have to know all the answers. We are the answer to them. Like they look at us, and that's what matters to them.
Yes. No, that is
So
that is for sure. That is true. And obviously, there are areas where, technically you can seek help and support and
of
all
course,
those things.
yeah.
But the aspect of, whether I am good enough to,
Yeah.
to educate my children, whether I'm good enough to do this good, any good for that matter, that is where one must be extremely careful, and not, you must be a kind of person who's a doer, gets up and does things rather than thinks and ponders and seeks to
Endlessly,
reach a
yeah.
point where you feel that now.
Yeah.
So that's something
Yeah,
which
like even to teach a very, 5-year-old how to read. Like mothers are pondering whether, and they have all these degrees and everything, but then they're pondering whether I can do this. Maybe they need an expert. Whereas they can just sit with a child and read books to them,
Yeah.
and bond with them and create this nurturing environment,
Absolutely.
and that would help them associate with the reading or learning in a beautiful way,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Like we can really be that medium for them to relate with learning
Yeah.
in general in such a beautiful way, using our relationship,
Yep.
by spending time together, by being present in that moment with them.
Exactly.
But then we shy away from that and we let somebody else have those moments with them because we think we lack this or that or the other.
Yeah.
Whereas all of those things, there are plenty of tools available
Yeah.
to do those things, right?
Sure.
And no, I'm not a teacher, or I'm not patient, or like some personal quality
Yeah.
comes up, and these are possibly all doubts from shaitan, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Because it's in a lot of mothers' hearts to do this,
Yeah.
to be present with their kids, to spend time with them, but they just don't trust themselves.
Absolutely.
Um,
So the best
because
growth.
of their mistakes sometimes.
Absolutely.
And it has happened with me too. Like,
Yeah.
I come and talk to you. So you just start feeling that, no, probably they're better off, being away from me rather than with me, because, X, Y, or Z reasons. And we all come up with a wide variety of excuses, right?
Right.
SubhanAllah.
Right. So I
So-
think at the end of the day, nobody is perfect, and we all understand that. And we must also understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to place our children in the care, in our care, not anybody else's care. And we choose to put it in somebody else's care. Although there is no doubt that sometimes there could be a need to do that. But
Yes.
if the motivation to do that is that I'm not good enough, and that's the thought that one must try and
Yeah.
struggle with.
That can't be the reason,
Yeah,
right?
because I think as a child grows in the womb of a mother, with the most amazing nurturing environment inside, the child develops. She develops automatically inside with the best qualities. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
You're making sure the womb, is just taken care. You're not hurting that. That's all.
Yeah. You're not disturbing
You're
the
not
process.
disturbing that. And that same womb is outside the birth as well. When the child gets born, the family is supposed to create that nurturing womb, where then the qualities can emerge and can develop inside the children.
Right.
And that nurturing environment should never be outsourced,
Yeah.
because that's the womb Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created as a house, as a family, to help the development process in the child.
Yeah, absolutely.
To bring out the best in the child, to get the best potential out of a child, out of a
Right.
child. And then don't ever think that you can plan X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
You never plan anything. We are
Yeah.
people who have tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we don't depend on our efforts, but we depend on Allah. We
Yeah.
plan, we do the best in our capacity, but we don't depend on those efforts.
Actually, the planning is not a problem. The obsessing with the planning
Exactly,
and
yeah.
obsessing with the execution is
Or
what,
the results.
or the results.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's so, like, we just so badly want to control
That's
it, right?
being a control freak, right? So, we must know that we control very little.
Yeah.
because and we have knowledge of also very little. Allah says, "Utitu min ilm illa qalila." We granted you knowledge, not except a little. It's because we can't handle the matters of ghaib. There actually comes so much into play that our kids keep, if everything was turning out as planned, then we wouldn't be surprised with the kids anymore, because we would be thinking, yeah, this is supposed to happen, that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So we must trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first and foremost, and do our best in the capacity that we can, not depending on our efforts, but depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is where our place is, and not really obsess over the outcomes, but keep involved and busy with the process.
Right.
And that's important, inshallah.
So when these thoughts come, I guess what we have to remember is that we put our hopes in Allah.
Yeah.
We don't put our hopes in ourselves or our abilities
Correct.
or what we bring to the.
You come close to me right now, okay? Sorry.
So we don't. So we don't place our hopes in ourselves or in our qualifications or our good deeds even, which sometimes make us feel, oh, now I'm worthy because I'm so and so person.
Yeah.
I mean, either end of it, whether we think we are now qualified or now we are not qualified, all of those things are taking yourself too seriously, taking your identity too
Shaitan
seriously.
wants us to delay the good. And these are the tools that he uses. We must be aware of, actually extremely aware. The more you feel resistant towards doing anything good, the more you must fight it and do the good. We should be people of doing, people of getting up and making effort.
Right.
Because we believe that there is barakah in harakah. You must move to get the results. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to just put things in place for us just by sitting and thinking about things.
Right.
We must be a people of thought, but initially or other, most of it must be our actions. We must be people of doing. Allah knows best, really.
But Jazakallah khair, we will talk about, inshallah, seeking control at another time, because I remember another conversation I had with you about that, inshallah. So, Jazakallah khair for listening. We hope this was of benefit, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.